The camera opens on a dimly lit school gym, the kind of place where echoes bounce off the walls. The janitor, Daniel Cole, is mopping the floor alone. His hands are rough from years of cleaning, his back aching from bending, but his eyes warm, tired, and gentle show a man who's used to pushing through pain without complaint. In the corner, a small girl is sitting cross-legged, drawing in a worn sketchbook. This is Lila, his 8-year-old daughter, the reason he wakes up every morning. Daniel was a man people often overlooked. A single father since his wife passed 3 years ago, he worked 2 jobs just to keep the rent paid. His world was small but steady until the day Evelyn Hart, CEO of Hartwell Enterprises, walked into that gym. She wasn't supposed to be there. Dressed in a sharp navy suit, heels clicking against the floor, she looked wildly out of place among basketball hoops and faded bleachers. She didn't greet him with the casual dismissiveness he usually got from wealthy types. Instead, she studied him for a moment before saying something so strange, he thought he'd misheard. "Mr. Cole. I need you to pretend to be my fiancé." Daniel actually laughed, half out of disbelief, half because it was the most absurd thing anyone had said to him in years. "Ma'am, I clean floors for a living." "You've got the wrong guy." But Evelyn stepped closer, lowering her voice. "No, I've got the right one. I've seen you around. You're honest, unpretentious, and most importantly, you don't have ties to my world. I need someone I can trust for just one night." She explained that her company's board was breathing down her neck, convinced she was too cold to lead. They thought marriage, or at least the appearance of a serious relationship, would soften her image before a critical investor dinner. Her assistant had suggested hiring a model or actor, but Evelyn wanted someone who wouldn't see her as a paycheck. She offered Daniel more money for a single evening than he made in a month. Daniel hesitated. He hated lies. But rent was late, and Lila's school trip fee was due in 2 days. Reluctantly, he agreed, with one condition: Lila had to come too. He couldn't afford a babysitter. Evelyn blinked in surprise but didn't object. The night of the dinner, Daniel showed up in a suit Evelyn's team had tailored for him. He barely recognized himself in the mirror: broad shoulders, clean-shaven jaw, even cufflinks that sparkled under the chandelier light. Lila wore a pale yellow dress Evelyn had sent over, her dark curls bouncing as she walked, eyes wide at the Grand Hotel where the event was held. From the moment they stepped in, all eyes turned. Evelyn's hand slipped into Daniel's, her grip surprisingly tight. He realized she wasn't just acting for the crowd, she was nervous. He leaned down and whispered, "Relax. You're doing fine." She gave him a look she rarely gave anyone: gratitude. Throughout the night, Daniel charmed the investors without even trying. He asked about their families, remembered details from conversations, and laughed in a way that didn't feel rehearsed. Evelyn found herself watching him more than she should, how his eyes softened when Lila tugged his sleeve, how he made space for others to speak. But then came the moment that changed everything. Toward the end of the dinner, one of the investors' wives bent down to talk to Lila. She smiled and asked, "So, is Evelyn going to be your new mommy?" The table chuckled politely, expecting the shy little girl to hide behind her father. Instead, Lila stood tall and said clearly, "I hope so, because she makes Daddy smile again." "He hasn't smiled like that since Mommy died." The entire room went silent. Daniel's heart stopped. Evelyn's eyes filled instantly with tears she tried to blink away, but they betrayed her. She wasn't a woman who cried in public, but that one sentence had cut past every defense she had. The dinner ended, but the memory of that moment didn't. On the drive home, Daniel apologized for Lila's bluntness. Evelyn shook her head. "Don't apologize for her telling the truth." Over the next weeks, their arrangement, meant to last one night, kept extending. Evelyn invited Daniel to more events, sometimes justifying it as keeping up appearances, but they both knew it was more than that. She found herself visiting the school gym on quiet afternoons, bringing coffee for Daniel, sitting on the bleachers with Lila and listening to her talk about art. But life wasn't a fairy tale. Rumors began swirling in the media, questioning Daniel's background, mocking Evelyn for dating the help. One board member even confronted her, warning that this relationship could cost her position. Daniel overheard and decided to walk away. He couldn't be the reason she lost everything. When he told Evelyn, she didn't try to hide her anger. "Don't you dare make that choice for me. I've spent my whole life building walls around myself. You and Lila, you're the first people who've made me feel like home could be a person." Her voice cracked. "I'm not losing that." The board meeting that week was brutal. Evelyn stood before a row of stone-faced executives and announced that Daniel wasn't her fiancé, he was the man she loved. She didn't care if it cost her their approval. "If I have to choose between my company and the first real happiness I've had in years," she said, "I'll walk away." The silence afterward was suffocating until the oldest board member, a grandmotherly woman who'd been quiet all night, smiled faintly and said, "About time you found someone real, Evelyn." The vote of no confidence never happened. Investors respected her honesty. The press, oddly enough, loved the story.